They begin tonight in Tanzania, where the government has imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew in Dar es Salaam following violent protests that erupted during today's elections. Vote counting is currently underway in what has been one of the most controversial elections in the nation's history. Election day in East Africa's most populous nation was marked by a dramatically low voter turnout across the country, violent protests in pockets of the commercial capital, and clashes between demonstrators and security forces. Adding to the turmoil, global internet watchdog NetBlocks reported widespread internet outages on election day. Catherine Omanto starts us off.
More than 37 voters out of Tanzania's population of 70 million were registered to cast ballots today for president, members of parliament and councillors. However, scenes at polling stations stood in stark contrast to the 2020 election. Across the country, particularly in Dar es Salaam, many polling stations remained largely empty throughout the day. According to CCM party officials, polling stations opened on time this morning, but voters trickled in slowly, if at all. But it's not just the low turnout. In areas like Ubongo and Kimara, violent protests erupted. Demonstrators engaged in running battles with security forces, and in one dramatic incident, protesters set fire to a BRT station. At least one polling station was destroyed by protesters, as well as reports of several people injured. The government deployed tanks and heavy security across the capital in an attempt to prevent unrest, but that militarized presence appears to have had mixed results, deterring some voters from casting ballots while failing to prevent protests in several neighborhoods. Earlier in the day, President Hassan cast her vote in Dodoma in what appeared to be another near-empty polling station.
Tayari nimeshakamilisha zoezi hili na niwaombe wa Tanzania wale ambao bado wako nyumbani wajitokeze, waende wakafanye wakatimize haki yao, wakapige kura, chagua viongozi wanaowataka.
But the plea appears to have fallen on deaf ears.
Katika mtaa wangu hali ya uchaguzi ni shwari, hali ya amani ipo ya kujitosheleza.
Wednesday's vote comes under controversial circumstances. President Samia Suluhu Hassan is seeking a full term in office, having assumed the presidency in March 2021 following the death of President John Magufuli. But she faces no major opposition on the ballot.
Many of us who are in the opposition politics, especially the leadership of Chadema, have almost all gone into hiding. So that is the current status as we speak.
The main opposition party, Chadema, was disqualified from the race in April after refusing to sign an electoral code of conduct. Its leader, Tundu Lissu, is currently on trial for treason, charges he denies. Opposition figures and rights groups have accused the government of a crackdown on political dissent.
Law Society of Kenya here have documented between the beginning of, I think, 2023 to end of 2024, November or something, it's 83 people. So if you combine all these, it's almost or more than 100.
Amnesty International says the situation is getting worse.
In my analysis and in the report that we published, Wave of Terror, in 2025, I'm analyzing as if this repression has gone a notch higher, meaning that we may also expect that the results, after whatever it is that we are reading, may either be worse or maybe remain the same.
Suluhu Hassan initially won praise when she came to power for easing some of the repression that marked her predecessor's tenure. She publicly received a COVID-19 vaccine, reversing Magufuli's pandemic skepticism, and re-engaged with the international community. But in the last 2 years, rights campaigners and opposition candidates have accused her government of unexplained abductions of critics and increasing restrictions on political activity. As the vote counting is now underway, the outcome of the presidential race appears predetermined. In 2020, with similar restrictions on opposition parties, CCM won 99% of parliamentary seats. Rights groups warn the pattern may repeat itself.
When the dissent was suppressed, in 2020, CCM garnered 99% votes, member of parliament seats. In 2020, with the suppression that was there, that was, do we say, unprecedented, we saw the ruling party garnering almost all the votes.
But the empty polling stations and street protests tell another story, one of many Tanzanians choosing neither to endorse nor participate in Wednesday's election. In the meantime, the Tanzanian government has imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew in Dar es Salaam with no indication of when it will be lifted. Catherine Amwando, NTV.